a bit of honest truth about myself and my past, and especially my childhood. I was exempt from PA. I I hated physical activity at school. And I had a doctor's note stating that I have severe asthma, so that I didn't have to attend that particular subject at school. Basically, I was bullied, and it still gets me, into that vulnerable, fragile space where I just feel like it still can show up, and it can still bring a lot of traumas and a lot of things and situations that I had to go through as a teenage boy. But basically, long story short, we lived in Belgium for 8 years, and in 1997, as we returned back to Poland, I was placed in a school that was very close by where I lived, and I knew nobody in that school, and I was placed as well in a class that was very physically fit. They were focused on participating in swimming contests, in the Olympics, etc. So everyone was, although we're all 13, 14, everyone was super fit, and I was just a normal guy. And because I joined that class at that age, they were already a group of people that accepted themselves. They knew themselves throughout all these years. So they found this new guy, me, as somebody to laugh at, somebody to make fun of, etc. And unfortunately, I wasn't fit. It was just not something that I was never interested in. I didn't really like to move my body. I preferred to read. I was kind of a history geek, and I loved to read about different wars and how this country took over another country, etc. And those 3 years of my life were truly traumatizing. It still gets me to this day, how I'm affected by those situations, purely because as a child as well, I obviously magnified what was happening to me. I mean, the guys in my class and in other classes as well, because obviously it was a big school and everyone knew that this guy just moved from Belgium, from a boys' Catholic school as well, may I add, into a group that, as I said before, like themselves, they were already a purely formed group of buddies throughout all these years. So what has happened? I was called names, from fatty to chubby. I was constantly laughed at that I wasn't able to move as fast, run as fast, be a better swimmer. I was always last, and I wasn't able to take it. So I remember asking my grandmother, with tears in my eyes, to ask the doctor to give me a cert to not to participate in physical activity at school. And obviously it was a time of the 1990s, and doctors weren't gonna state on a cert that this boy, because of mental health trauma or being bullied or feeling it hard to adapt to a new situation, new circumstances, she had to write down that I had severe asthma. I never had asthma. So for 3 years I was exempt from attending PA, and I despised anything and anyone that had anything to do with fitness training, workouts. I thought people that are training, that are sports people, are stupid, dumb people, and I didn't want to be portrayed like that. I wanted to be the history scientist, etc., etc. So 3 years, I was not only named and abused verbally, but also, I was, thrown at with, like, made wet, like paper towel. I was even forced into a cubicle once. And several times again, these kind of episodes appeared over and over. I was constantly late for my classes, especially for the start of the day, because I didn't want to be around anyone. I took a massive loop around my school to get to school, although it was a straight road, but I didn't want to encounter anyone because I was too afraid to be facing guys that could hurt me, or I didn't know really what they were planning to do with me, and I was really afraid for my life and my well-being. So I remember taking like crazy, directions to get to school, even through even had to crawl over a fence once, so that because I saw them waiting for me basically. So I was always late for my first class, so I didn't have to encounter them. And then obviously, throughout the day, it was a horrible experience. So for 3 years of my life, I was bullied verbally and physically. Once I said it to my parents, and they obviously were shocked. They saw me as well being a completely different child than I was before, and and they asked me, and I always had a really good relationship with my parents, so I relied on them, and I told them what was happening, and they were really furious, not at me, but obviously at the school not acting. So they decided to talk about it at one of the parent meetings, which just aggravated the problem. And now I was really the weak link, and I was the one, the snitch, obviously, not being able to sorry, it is a I'm saying this also because I want this to come out and to cleanse me. I really want this to be purifying experience, and I know that you need to be vulnerable to really appreciate everything that you've gone through, and I want people to really understand that you're not left alone and you're not lonely, and that so many others have gone through it, even through worse stuff. Obviously, I'm not saying that my traumatic experiences were the worst of the worst, but they were super traumatic for me, and they were for me something that that has left scars on my soul, on my heart, and my belief in people, my trust in people. And up until this day, you'll be shocked probably as I say this, but up until this day, I fear looking passerbys, passing by people in the eyes, because I'm afraid they'll reply back, "What are you looking at?" I had that several times as a teenager, and twice I was robbed as a teenage boy as well. And obviously it all got absorbed by my subconscious and by the way I still live. I went through hypnosis. I went through a lot of processes just to kind of get me out of that limiting belief that I'm not good enough and I don't have to prove myself to anyone else. But it still gets triggered once in a while. So yeah, I still get to the point where I pass somebody on the street and I look at them maybe for a second, and then I decide to just look away or look somewhere else. But yeah, just still fighting that, trying to accept it, but fighting as well that scare of looking into somebody's eyes, or just really predict, thinking that they might reply back to me, and they probably won't, but that there's that fear, But yeah, I decided just to be the authentic self, and I kind of apologize for all the interruptions and all the lack of wording, but this is actually the first time I'm saying this out loud. Some of my best friends, my family members knew about this, but this is the first time I'm going to post something like this on social media for all of you to know, and for all of you that are going through this or not. Maybe you're not going through this, which is phenomenal, and cherish the fact that you're not going through this. But I want everyone to know that that there are moments in everyone's life that can have a massive impact on you, and they'll carry on with you throughout life, and you just have to find that belief in yourself, confidence, and appreciating and joyful with yourself before you can share your love then with anyone else, with others. But I just want to say, if you're out there and if you're going through something, you know, that lowers your self-esteem and lowers your belief in yourself, please remember one thing: you're a unique, beautiful human being. No matter what other people say to you or about you, that's none of your concern. None of that is your concern. You value yourself. You keep striving for the vision, the dream that you have about yourself, and you just keep on building yourself. But remember that you are unique, and there's never been anyone else so amazing, and never will be. Okay, you're one in billions. Okay, and obviously after those 3 years of trauma, and we were obviously, you know, we were graduating. I made a decision. I made a conscious decision that I'm going to move to the further away school possible, so that nobody in that school will know who I am. So I won't have any friends from the past, although I didn't have any really. But I won't have anyone that will be able to say, hey, that's that guy, that's Chubby, that's him. I'll have nobody like that. I decided to start and write my own chapter. And I remember still that day when I decided to say, I'm moving to a new, better school with the confident me, and nobody knows me, so I am tabula rasa. I am a blank sheet of paper. I'm a blank, chalkboard, whatever you want to say. You can write your story, and you are incredible, and you can always decide on whether to choose to love yourself or allow other people's opinion about you matter more. And please do not allow other people's opinion, criticizing you or whatever they do, to impact you. So yeah, I decided to be honest, bit chaotic, the way I was wording it, but I really didn't have an agenda, and I just allowed this to go and record. But yeah, if you're out there and you're facing some sort of trauma, if you're bullied or somebody doesn't respect you, you shouldn't be taking that. It's something that will be part of you. Accept it, but also know that that's only their opinion. And I know it's easier said than done, and obviously as a teenager you're not thinking in those categories. So if you've got family that is going to school, or you've got kids in your family or your cousins, observe them, watch them, and see and talk to them, and be open, and don't judge. Because whatever they're going through is hard enough. If they're happy to open up, it means that they trust you. So you should not let that trust dissolve. So always listen with an open heart. Don't be jumping into giving advice or tips or how you should man up. Fucking hate that. Okay, there's no such fucking thing as man up. Sorry for the cursing, but it really irritates me. Man up, be a man. Come on, like, what is this? Fight back. Like, no. Okay, just no. That's also one of the reasons why I've created Mifit Coach, Mindful Fitness, a kinder approach to fitness, a kind coach, a positive coach that has gone through a lot in his own life and wants other people to just be happy with who they are, how they look, and don't allow other people's opinion to have an impact on you. Okay? Stay well, stay blessed. When I say that the story after obviously my new school with the new Peter has come true, obviously that is a fact. I had the most amazing experience later on in that school, but also then in during my studies. So sometimes things have to happen to build us. you know, sometimes things have to happen that will be the foundation of who we become later on in life. And I want to say as well, and I think this is the biggest gift that I can give myself, is that I forgive everyone from my past. Those kids that bullied me, I forgive them. I forgive myself, and I truly, you know, I've met my younger self in this morning's meditation, and I told myself that I love you. You know, I truly love you. I forgive you. You're amazing, you know. And sometimes you have to revisit and go back to your younger self and just be honest with that younger self, and just give him a pat on the back, a hug, a kiss, and just say, you're better than all of this, and you're going to come out of this stronger. Thank you again for listening. Thank you so much. It means the world to me that you listened and that you were open to hear this. I'm not going to edit this video, so yeah, stay blessed, stay well. All my love to you. If you haven't heard this from anyone else, I'll say it to you, and I mean it. I love you, and you're amazing. Thank you.